Yo, guys, say what's up? It's your boy here. Um, Late as hell tonight, but I really wanted to do this because I just got hyped. I just got hyped. AEW, Double or Nothing show premiered tonight, and everything has been building up for the 5 months since AEW's announced. The show and been building towards it. They fucking delivered tonight. They delivered tonight. AEW has made their mark that they're not playing, and they are here. Um, they're here, and they should not be taken lightly. Um, this pay per view was great, top to bottom. It was great. There were a couple of low lights here or there, but nothing I could really say coming out of this pay per view where you felt you were disappointed. Bar none. This was a solid pay per view. I don't know where to start with this. Let's start with the pre-show. The pre-show, which was the Battle Royale or Casino Royale, uh, which is a Battle Royal. Winner gets becomes the first contender for the AEW World Championship. Uh, this was a fun match. It was fun. You had lots of guys in there. MJF, MJF, Jungle Boy, uh, Tommy Dreamer, Jimmy Havoc, Brian Pillman Jr., a lot of guys. However, we saw Hangman Page. Hangman Page came tonight in this battle royal, which is interesting because we thought, well, one or two things we thought. We thought that he was going to have a replacement match due to the Pac whole debacle, but on being the elite this past Tuesday, he was like, hey, he won't be at Double or Nothing because of a knee injury he had sustained in his match with Pac the week prior. So didn't know going into this that he was going to be here. He came here and, playing out that leg injury or knee injury, I should say, rather. Um, Adam Heyman Page wins the Battle Royal and is the first contender for the world title. I think the right guy won. I don't know, if the Pac Hangman match happened tonight at Double or Nothing, I don't know who would have won the Battle Royal. But I think since the Pac match fell through at Double or Nothing, this was the next best thing for Adam Page. Definitely getting him that spot to be one of the guys, because he said he at the very first rally back in January, he wanted to be the first AEW World Champion. He wanted to be that guy, and Tony Khan, Cody Rhodes have all said he's going to be one of those guys. And tonight they kind of positioned him to be that. So that was great. The other match we had on the pre-show was Sammy Guevara versus Kip Sabian. This was a fun match. I guess as I could say, the best I can say, this was a fun kind of like cruiserweight exhibition type of match. Kip Sabian won the match. Excellent stuff there. Then we get on to the main card. SCU versus Strong Cold. The guys representing OWE. This was a fun match to watch. I haven't seen much of Christopher Daniels wrestling since he lost the Ring of Honor title to Cody Rhodes a couple years ago. I haven't seen him wrestle much, but seeing him tonight, man, he was putting out all the stops. Christopher Daniels can still definitely go and definitely has some gas in the tank, because he was keeping up with a lot of the younger guys from the opposing team in that ring, and even his partners, he was keeping up with them. But SCU won this match. This was a great match to kick off the main card, to kick off the show. This was great. Then we had what we originally thought was going to be a triple threat between Nyla, Kylie Ray, and is it Britt Baker, or Doc DND, so if they nicknamed her as. This was supposed to be a triple threat. Brandy Rhodes music hits. Brandy comes out, and we're thinking, in full gear, by the way, and we're thinking, oh, Brandy's gonna insert herself in this match. Nope, not at all. Instead, she adds a fourth competitor, and that fourth competitor ended up being Awesome fucking Kong. Awesome Kong. That was a shocker. We haven't seen Awesome Kong in years. I don't know if she's wrestled since her short stint in WWE when she was Karma, but it was great seeing her. The match itself was kind of eh. Britt Baker won. I think this was probably the weakest match on the card, but you know, hey, the best thing coming out of this was seeing Awesome Kong. Let's see what happened after this. After this match, we had. Oh God, I know I'm forgetting something. Oh, tag team match. And the team of Angelico and Jack Evans versus Best Friends, Chucky T and Trent Beretta. This is a good tag team match. I think if this is, a small taste of what the tag team vision is going to be like in AEW, I think it's going to be a good thing. Best Friends won, which was to my surprise. They won. They beat Jack Evans and Angelico. So yeah, Best Friends won. And then after the match, we had these other wrestlers kind of come. Lights went out, and they made their debut. And I don't know who these guys was. Smash Bros, I think they were. One guy was really skinny, and the other guy was kind of fat. There was a little pocket of chants in the background saying, "Who are you? Who are you?" Which I thought was kind of funny. But to me, it was kind of flat. But it is what it is. Didn't hurt the show. Then after that, we had the six woman tag match. I'm not going to go through all their names, but it was this three Japanese women against another three Japanese women. Come to find out at the Double or Nothing post press conference, I guess I should say, or after party rather. Tony Khan mentioned, I was watching before I made this video. Tony Khan said that Kenny Omega was the one who spotted out these women, showed them to him, and Kenny Omega and Brandy Rhodes worked together in booking that match. I thought this was a pretty good match. I thought this match was better than the Fatal 4-Way from the other women earlier on in the night. Got a little botchy towards the finish a little bit, but it wasn't too bad. They were able, in my opinion, I thought they were able to kind of cover their asses, I should say. But that was a good match. Then the next match we get, to me, which I personally thought was match of the night, Cody Rhodes versus his brother, Dusty Rhodes. Cody's entrance. Got to talk about that first. Because there were quite a few shots I thought that were kind of fired tonight at AEW towards WWE. Cody Rhodes comes out. Well, before he comes out, his music plays, and we see this throne, this stoned throne on stage, with like some skulls, and the back chair, the back end of the chair was shaped like a cross, and the cross looked a lot like the cross or emblem that Triple H has on his underwear, his wrestling gear. And I was like, holy shit, like this has got something to do with Triple H. It has to. As Cody walks down the ramp, his wife Brandy gets a sledgehammer from the ring, gives it to Cody, and I'm like, a sledgehammer? Really? Everyone knows, if you know wrestling, when you look at a sledgehammer, the only person you think of is Triple H, because that's the only person that that item is anonymous with. Um, so Cody takes the sledgehammer from his wife, walks back up the ramp, and like crushes the throne and breaks the throne. Um, so he was definitely taking some shots at Triple H. I thought that was clever and pretty funny. Then we get Dusty Rhodes comes out looking like a love trial between his other persona, Goldust, and OG Kane from '98, or 1997, I should say rather. Um, this was an excellent match. This was an excellent match. This was a match that was like a throwback, and you know, for anyone who might not have watched all of the uh, uh, Being the Elite or Road to Double or Nothing uh, video mini webisodes that have been leading up to a lot of these matches, building these matches. If you're not watch any of those. This match still captivated a lot of people in that arena. They had people hooked in that arena tonight. I mean, people were emotionally invested in this match that I have not seen in quite some time. Quite some time. And that includes WWE. Um, but this was a great match. It was old. It's kind of old school. It was kind of an old school match. Dusty still has gas in the tank. It was a spot where uh, Cody threw him up against the corner post. He falls out of the ring. Randy spears him. At this point, he's like laying over to the side with his face under the ring apron. At that point, you know, he was bleeding. But man, whatever he did, he must have cut himself a little bit too deep, because dude was like ketchup. Was like he was beet red, dripping with blood. I mean, it was bad. The entire ring, when he and Cody resumed their wrestling or resumed the match with Dusty bleeding, or Dustin, excuse me, bleeding, the whole ring mat was just like splattered of blood, all coming from Dustin. And there was at one point where Cody had him in a, I think he had him like in a headlock or something like that. And the camera zooms in, and you could just see blood just pouring like water, like a faucet from Dustin's head. Um, I mean, Crimson Mask, as Jim Ross would say. Crimson Mask was what he was definitely wearing. I mean, he had half his face was covered in red and red paint, but you couldn't even tell, because there was just so much blood covering at that point his entire face. You couldn't even tell what was blood and what was his face paint. But Cody put him away. He won. A lot of people were emotional about this. He walks out. Then he steps back in the ring. We're thinking he's going to beat up his brother or something, like, you know, okay, we're going to get heel Cody. He grabs a mic and says, hey, this isn't going to be your last match. I have a match scheduled next month, or in July, Fight for the Fallen, against the Young Bucks. And when I signed my name on that contract for that pay-per-view, I said that I've already picked my partner. I don't want to, he said, I don't want a partner. I don't want a friend. I want my brother. Really emotional, really touching. And you could even see the expression on Cody's face. Cody was emotional. Dusty's face was emotional. They didn't even shake hands. They hugged. And to me, that was a moment. That was a great wrestling moment. That is a moment I think that you know, in wrestling, we always have these things where, you know, you have these moments that's kind of like frozen in time that you always remember. Whether it's, you know, Stone Cold Steve Austin, uh, uh, hitting McMahon with the beer truck. Um, Stone Cold Steve Austin turning heel. Kurt Angle's Milkamania. Um, the retirement. The last closing segments between the Ric Flair Shawn Michaels match at WrestleMania. Wrestling always has those memorable moments. Tonight, that was that memorable moment. The crowd ate it up. The crowd were emotional. That match to me, out of all the matches that came before and after, this was the match that took everyone on the roller coaster ride, on an emotional ride. Took us up, took us down, made us sad, made us happy, made us cry. It was a happy ending. That was the best match of the night to me. Just based off that scene, that moment. The match was great. Don't get me wrong. The match was great. Had some great spots. The blood was awesome. But that moment at the end, that promo at the end, and them coming together, embracing each other, that was a moment that capped it off. So to me, that was wrestling match of the night. Then after that, we get into a segment of finally introducing, or showing, I should say, the brand new AEW World Championship. If you guys don't know me by now, in me saying this, I'm a belt guy. I love belts, wrestling belts, the different designs. UFC. I'm a belt guy. You know, I know the designers who make the belts, whether it's Wildcats, All Star, Dave Melican, Paul Martin, J Mar belts. I know them all. And so I was really, really interested in seeing the AEW World Championship and seeing what it would look like, especially knowing that it's been made by Dave Melican, one of the best belt manufacturers in the business, still to this day. The guy's a legend. He's made some of the greatest wrestling belts of all time. If you don't know, WWF Attitude Era, TNA World Heavyweight Championship, 2007 version, um, Intercontinental Championship, Oval, Globe, Intercontinental title. The guy's done it all. He's even made the UFC belt. Um, that was been a part of UFC for the last like 15 years until they just changed it recently. But anyway, so I was really looking forward to seeing this new belt. They bring out Bret the Hitman Hart to introduce it. Bret Hart comes back out. I'm kind of like stunned a little bit. I'm like, wait, Bret the Hitman Hart? Like, are you serious? They have Bret come out here to introduce the belt or showcase the belt. Bret Hart, uh, uh, it was great seeing him. I mean, to me, he's the guy that got me into wrestling. Um, he calls out Adam Page. Adam Page comes out before he even gets a chance to speak to him. MJF comes out, cuts a promo, talks crap to people. Um, Besides Adam Page, I really believe MJF is going to be one of the feature stars for AEW. The guy can talk. He's a good wrestler. He's good, but the guy he's charismatic. He's charismatic on the mic. To me, he's kind of like a Miz, but he's a better talker on the mic than Miz. Miz is entertaining. Don't get me wrong. I've grown to like the Miz over the years, but in terms of like being that snarly heel and like have those witty good comebacks, MJF does it better than the Miz to me. This is a guy I think is going to be a future star. He was the last. He and Hangman Page were the last two contestants in the Battle Royal early on the night. For them to bring this guy out again in the middle of the show to cut a promo on Bret Hart and the crowd, that kind of lets you know who they're going to be, some of their focal, like, future stars they're going to be focusing on. And MJF is definitely the right choice. But he cuts a promo, gets interrupted by Jungle Boy, I think is another one they're going to be focused on, and Jimmy Havoc. They chase him off. Bret shows the world title. As for the title itself, the title doesn't look bad. Since looking at how to digest, I'm looking at other photos of it, and hopefully there'll be more high quality photos being released over the next day or so. But the belt is kind of starting to grow on me. I know it was inspired by Mid South World Championship, which is like this really big, bulky, and wide 5-plated silver and gold strap. The belt's ugly. The belt that it's inspired by is ugly. But this AEW championship here is not, it doesn't take the entire look of that belt too far. It's kind of got a little bit of like a New Japan type of like look to it. Like I said, it kind of have to grow on me a little bit. I think maybe if the center plate and the side plates next to it, if those were kind of like squished down a little bit more instead of being like up high, kind of squished down, I think it'll look a little bit better. I think it'll look a lot better actually. If they were just kind of mushed down a little bit. But you know, because I'm not the biggest fan of big bulky belts. But the title looks legit though. It looks legit. It looks like another solid piece of work from Dave Millican. Like I said, it's going to have to give me some time, get some more high quality photos of it, and then obviously, you know, when they go on TV, saying that title more on television on a weekly basis, it'll grow on me even more. But so far, not a bad belt. Then we get on to the tag team match: Young Bucks versus Lucha Bros with the AAA tag team titles on the line. I forgot to mention this. The pay-per-view so far had been good, but to me, I think it really started to pick up the pace once the Cody and Dustin match started. So when the Cody and Dustin match started, it was like 150 miles per hour at that point. The pay-per-view just got better and better. So as far as the tag team match, phenomenal tag team match. Young Bucks put it all. They put it out on the line against Lucha Bros. Lucha Bros took it to them, threw everything in, including the kitchen sink at them. But the Young Bucks, I won't say barely made it, but they didn't leave unscathed. I would say they defended those titles, and they defended them with all their heart, blood, sweat, and tears. Awesome match. Surprised that they retained. So I don't know, maybe like AEW might be borrowing or using other titles from other companies. So, you know, for a short time of being until they like get their set of belts made. But yeah, I think that was definitely another highlighting match of the night. It was a tag team match. Then we move on to the main event. Kenny Omega versus Chris Jericho. This was a good match. I was looking at some people's opinions and stuff, you know, after the pay-per-view was over. And a lot of people were like, oh, this isn't as good as their first match. Was it as good as their first match? No, it's not on par with their first match. But I did like the fact that this was just a straight-up wrestling match. Because I can't remember Chris Jericho having a straight-up wrestling match probably since his match with Kevin Owens at WrestleMania 3 years ago. And even then, him wrestling in New Japan, a lot of his matches were gimmick matches. His match with Omega was a no DQ. His match with Tetsuya Naito, Tetsuya Naito was also a no disqualification match. I don't know what the qualifications for his match with Okada would be, but considering his last two matches that we had over the last like maybe year and a half in Japan, being gimmicks, which is understandable. You know, those matches are being gimmick matches because Jericho is 47. He's getting up there, or he is up there. This was just a straight up wrestling match, and I thought it was good. I thought it was a good wrestling match, especially coming from Chris Jericho, because like I said, we haven't seen him in a straight up wrestling match since his match with Kevin Owens at WrestleMania. Or you could even say the triple threat match he had with Kevin Owens and AJ Styles on SmackDown for the United States title, which was the last time we actually saw Jericho wrestle in WWE. So, like, besides that, he literally hasn't had a straight up wrestling match in a while, and I thought it was good. He had the black tiger like pants, which to me was kind of a throwback to kind of like his earlier attire from WCW back in the day, or even ECW. I thought was awesome. Jericho, Kenny Omega tried to hit him with that one wing angel, could not get it at all. So definitely, that's going to be that's going to be a protective finisher, because I think that's going to be the finisher where when Kenny hits it once, that's it, you're done. So it was definitely a protective finisher. He didn't even get a chance to hit it at all tonight. He tried like at least 2 or 3 times, couldn't get it done. Jericho hit him with like a code breaker, lifted him up, and then just hit him with that new back elbow span, which he now calls the Judas Effect, his newest finisher. Pinned him, got the win. Chris Jericho is now the second contender, and he will be facing Adam Heyman Page at a feature event. It's probably going to be at their July pay-per-view, Fight for the Fallen, to crown the very first inaugural world champion. I knew this was going to happen for multiple reasons, and I'm not upset that Jericho won either, because Omega won their first match, so you know Jericho winning this one, they're going to have a third rubber match down the road, and I'm completely okay with that. But here's why Jericho makes sense. As I mentioned in my preview, Jericho's facing Okada next month for the IWGP Heavyweight title. Him beating Omega gives him some momentum going into that match, because we know even though he's not beating Okada, he's still, storyline perspective, it gives him a strong build towards Okada for that match next month. Second, as it stands right now, Chris Jericho is the top heel in AEW. He's their top heel in the company. And with him kind of being, self-centered and kind of, on cloud nine and thinking that everyone from the roster to the talent and fans should kiss his ass in AEW, it makes sense. So to have him, a cocky veteran heel, going up against an upcoming, babyface and Adam Page, who's trying to grab that brass ring, so to speak, and break through to the next stage of his career, I think it's going to be a good story telling, and it's going to be a good match to have to crown for the world championship, to crown your first world champion. But anyway, after the match, Jericho talks crap, speaks his piece, talks crap, and we see some rustling through the crowd. And coming through the crowd, fucking Jon Moxley, formerly known as Dean Ambrose, comes through the crowd, rolls into the ring, stares Jericho down for like maybe 5 seconds, drop kicks him with the double arm DDT, ref rolls in the ring, he doesn't say anything, kicks the ref, drops him, double arm DDT, then he turns to Omega, and he lifts Omega, and I think he either drops Omega or he throws Omega out the ring. One of the cases, I don't remember. But he and Omega start getting into it, and they start fighting, and they start fighting through the crowd, and then they get on one of the stage props with the big, huge dominoes, and Ambrose just lifts up Omega and throws him over or off, I should say, not over, but throws him off the prop and through like a table. And AEW ends that way on a high note. All in all, this was a solid show. I give it a 9 out of 10. I thought the undercard, it felt a little weak, just because there were a lot of new fresh faces and stuff that a lot of people don't know. But it was good. But it really started to pick up and kick in the high gear, I think, once we got to the Cody match. That started it all. Once you get to the Cody match, the Young Bucks tag team match, and then the main event, those three really, really bumped up elevated the pay-per-view's value even more to me, in my opinion. This was a good show. A couple of things I want to to take out of this. First of all, I got to talk about the revealing of the title. My friend Mark, we were driving home. He was mentioning, he was like, you know what? He was like, it's kind of funny because how they had Bret Hart introduce the world title. He's like, it's kind of like taking shots at when Mick Foley introduced the 24/7 title. And I was like, wait a minute. I was like, you know what? I think you're onto something there. I'm like, you know what? You're actually right. I didn't think about that because over the weekend, the Young Bucks and Cody Rhodes had their opinions about the 24/7 championship and the segment that when it was first introduced this past Monday by Mick Foley, and everyone on the internet for like lost their goddamn minds. Oh my God, why are they talking about the 24/7 title like that? I thought AEW said they weren't going to compete with WWE, but they're taking shots at them already. Oh my God, it's so horrible. It's so wrong. Why are they doing this? Fuck AEW. And it's like, are you guys serious? Are you that offended that they give an opinion? In my opinion, a valid criticism towards that segment. They didn't criticize Mick Foley. They said they felt bad for Mick Foley because that crowd was flat as hell when Mick Foley revealed the 24 championship. And let's be honest, the 24/7 championship looks like a giant green skittle with a clock made of copper taped on the bitch. It's a horrible championship title belt. It can have the potential all day long to make, fun segments or whatever. The stuff that R-Truth is doing on social media with it. It's entertaining, sure. But I'm not holding my breath because WWE are going to run that shit into the ground. So, like, they're giving the honest opinion. It's like, who gives a fuck about a goddamn belt that they're critiquing that was asked of them by a fan? So it's like, Jesus Christ. And that's how I know a lot of these wrestling fans, when they make these comments, they make these remarks, you guys have not grown up during the Monday Night War. You haven't. Because if you did, you would know that taking shots at each other, it's nothing new. And WWE has taken shots at other wrestling companies for years. For years. They've taken shots at WCW, ECW, TNA, NWA. You name it, WWE's done it. So, like, get off your high horse. It's a damn belt. Who cares? So, but yeah, I thought that point that my friend made, I thought the correlation there was interesting. I thought that definitely was like a little shot there, a little nudge there, and say like, hey, this is how you really introduce a belt to the audience. One of the things I liked about this, first of all, the stadium, it looked great. You had 12,000 people. It looked nice. The stage was simple, but it was good. It had the two double pipes, a double entrance, kind of reminiscent of early TNA. In their their bi-monthly, bi-weekly pay-per-views that they used to have back in the day. Really reminded me of that. So I thought that was pretty cool. The ring looked great. The presentation was great. One thing I got to notice too, and it probably was, but I did not see that much in the crowd. There was not a goddamn child in that audience. There probably were some kids there, but if they were, I could not see them. I was looking. I did not see any children. I saw women. I saw a lot of young guys and a couple older dudes too. But you really look at the audience, it was a younger demographic. It definitely was. It was a little bit of a younger audience, older people, and even the women that were there were women that were like genuine wrestling fans. Because like if you go to a WWE event, and I've gone to a lot of WWE live events, and even if you even have to go to the live events, you can just even look at it on TV. The women that are on the WWE in the WWE audience are like soccer moms. They're like, oh, well, I don't know these wrestlers. All I know is, John Cena and maybe a Roman Reigns, but I'm only here because little Jimmy wants to be here. He's a big fan of Roman Reigns and John Cena. So, yay, I'll cheer for them too. But the females in the crowd tonight in AEW, they look like genuine wrestling fans. Like they knew who a Kenny Omega was. They knew who the Young Bucks and a Cody Rhodes were, um, or SCU. So that was really interesting. That was interesting, and I was just I had a little smirk. I did. I was like, you know what? This is great because already AEW has reported that their TV rating is going to be TV 14. So out of the gate, they're going to be edgy. Matt Jackson said that they are going to be a little bit more edgier compared to others. So that was like a breath of fresh air for me. Just saying, I'm like, you know what? I'm like, yes, let the kids and the family have WWE, but let us young guys and women that are in their, mid, late 20s to early 30s, even mid 30s, let us have AEW. Please let this be the company for us. Because everything on this pay-per-view was targeted for us, for our enjoyment. Oh, Jon Moxley. For the love of God, Jon Moxley. Jon Moxley, formerly known as Dean Ambrose. He looked like, to me, he was more in tune and enjoying himself in the last 5 minutes of this pay-per-view compared to the last 5 months that he was in WWE. Literally. You compare the last 5 months that Dean Ambrose was in WWE, and you compare it to the last 5 minutes of this pay-per-view where he makes his return as Jon Moxley. It's like night and fucking day. In WWE, you can tell he was just going through the motions. You can even argue he was stale in WWE and being under that system. He was going through the motions, and he is just like, you know what? I'm a man of my word. Let me do my job so I can get out of here. Once I fulfill my duties with you guys, WWE, I do the JOB. I'm out. And seeing him here, and it's Jon Moxley, he looks refreshed. He looks excited. He looks happy to be there. He looks like, man, like, this is my element. This is what I want. I'm home. Basically, that's the feeling I got from Dean Ambrose or Jon Moxley coming out here tonight on AEW. Reading the from the after party, Tony Khan had some an interview. Ryan Satin from the Dirt Sheet said that. Well, first of all, Cody Rhodes said that Jon Moxley has signed a multi-year deal with AEW. Signed a multi-year deal with AEW. Tony Khan said in the after party, someone asked him, "How'd you snag Jon Moxley?" And he said, "When he was available, we knew when he was available. But when he was available, he called me up. He called me directly and talked to me, and we worked things out." And Ryan Satin, wrestling reporter here, tweeted saying that Tony Khan also said that Jon Moxley is in AEW full time once the TV show begins this fall, and that Dean Ambrose, with his deal that Dean Ambrose has, is that he can also do international bookings and some other stuff when the schedule is light. So Mox has got a damn good deal right here. They snatched him up quick. it was like he was just in WWE a month ago when they did the whole farewell Shield special on the network. Like they snatched his ass up quick, and he looks like he's happy to be there. Like this, it's a new environment. He's got a little bit more freedom, and I think Jon Moxley is going to be much more enjoyable being with AEW. Being with AEW, having that 14 label rating, being a little bit more edgy. He looks. We're going to get the real Jon Moxley, or Dean Ambrose, I should say, whoever you want to, however you want to label that. Um, tonight was an excellent show. The best way I can say that I can describe tonight was that it felt refreshing. It felt refreshing in the sense that this is a wrestling company that put on a good show, put on a good show that has a huge budget, and you see it in the production value, but it's not WWE. The best word I can describe for that is refreshing. Yes, we have a Ring of Honor. Yes, you have an Impact, but none of them are on par with WWE in terms of production value, uh, uh, a feel of like big league feel. AEW tonight felt big league, and their product was really good. I enjoyed it. I look forward to their future pay per views. I look forward to uh, their fall show this fall. Tony Khan in the after party interview with Dirt Sheet said he is fully excited he's really excited for their fall show. He was like, I said that our pay per view is going to be one of the best pay per views, one of the best wrestling pay per views of the year. He's like, but now that we've got our feather in that cap, he was like, you guys haven't seen anything yet until we get our TV. Once we start our TV show in the fall, um, I'm hyped. I'm hyped. I thought they delivered despite the shortcomings with the Pac match, despite uh, people complaining about the $60 price. I thought they delivered tonight. AEW delivered. Um, they've definitely got me as a fan. I was a little optimistic at first, excited but optimistic at first, then cautious, I should say rather. But coming out of it tonight, I am an AEW fan. I look forward to seeing more what they have to offer, and just to even show how if tonight was such an important night. You had a lot of top wrestling journalists that were there. Wrestle Talk TV, Ryan Satin, Solo Monster, uh, 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 Mark Henry representing Busted Open Radio, uh, Dave Meltzer, trying to see who else was there. Sean Sapp from Fightful.com. I think I just said that already. But like, those are some key uh, wrestling journalists in the business today. And they were all there at this event in person. So if that doesn't show you how important this show was, I mean, I don't know what else to say. I don't know what else to say. Um, I'm excited. I'm sorry for making this long, guys, but I just had to make these points out. This was a damn good show, and I can't wait for July for Fight for the Fallen. And hell, I can't even wait for the pay per view here in Chicago because they're coming back to Chicago with All Out August 31st. Tickets go on sale June 13th. I'm definitely going. I missed the chance to go to All In when they were here back in September last year. I'm not gonna miss this opportunity now. Them coming back into Chicago. Difference is though, All In was meant to be a one shot thing. This is a new upstart company, a new wrestling company. So this is gonna have a different vibe, a different beat than All In. So I'm definitely gonna go for them. And I even got to mention that their pay-per-views are on Saturdays. That is the perfect day for them to air their pay-per-views, because Sundays, you know, people have responsibilities. They got to go to work. Kids got to go back to school, the next day. And, we have WWE having these 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 hour pay-per-views, on a Sunday night. It can be kind of a drag, sitting here watching these long ass pay-per-views from WWE, and you got to get up the next day for work and, in school and life, I should say, for the week. So AEW having their pay-per-views on a Saturday, I think is excellent. It's an excellent day. It doesn't conflict with any WWE pay-per-views. I'll be sure I would guess it wouldn't conflict with any UFC pay-per-views. That always falls on Saturdays. But the days for the pay-per-view, I thought was perfect. Can't wait to see more from these guys. You let me know what you guys thought about Double or Nothing. Did it deliver? Did it or did it not deliver to you? What did you enjoy? What were some highlights? What were some lowlights? What are your thoughts in the box below? Give me your thoughts. Do yourself a favor, hit that like button and subscribe. Peace out, guys.